On to you, Sagittarius. So you have the Justice, the Ace of Cups, and the Temperance. So I mean, a lot of you Sagittarius are very much so interesting. That's very interesting. That's interesting. So the Justice and the Ace of Cups and the Temperance, right? And then you have the Nine of Swords, right? Way at the end over here, right? These cards right here represent how some of you Sagittarius are like, you know, you're kind of like jaded in the sense that you don't want to, you're kind of asking yourself like, okay, love shouldn't be so difficult in the first place, right? Like your interactions with others should not be this difficult. Why is it that when you interact with others, it seems to be so complicated, right? Why are things not more simpler? And the Nine of Swords and the Four of Swords kind of represents your own, yet again, it represents your disappointment and how a lot of people can just allow, themselves to be so confusing in the first place just for the sake of confusion. And I mean, I know that it may seem like it's messed up though, Sagittarius, but at the end of the day, real talk, you really do have to keep your head up, because the Queen of Pentacles represents how you don't want to, a lot of you Sagittarius are like, well, why should you give anything to anyone? You don't want to have to hunt down the person, right, so to speak. And what I mean when I say hunt them down, I mean like try to force the relationship, call them. It's, you know what I mean? That you're playing phone tag. You don't want to have to do that. If you feel like you have to do that, if you're seeing that that's what's going on, a lot of you Sagittarius don't want to do that. And the King of Swords and the Nine of Wands are, so a lot of you are really looking for someone to give to you back. But at the same time, you have to be careful about this mentality. You have to be careful about this, because when you have this level of mentality, it could end up being quite dysfunctional, quite disrespectful. And what I mean by that is you have to contribute. Let me just go ahead and make it plain. You have to contribute in every relationship that you're going to be in. There is no such thing as putting your feet on vacation putting your feet on vacation, putting your feet up and going on vacation. Blah. Because what's happening here is that there is no such thing as that. And the reason why I'm saying that in the first place is because one person who may end up being good to you does not deserve the disrespect that you've received from a person prior to them, right? Before meeting them and before getting with them. And now you feel like the next person owes you because you've been wronged. Listen, let me be the first to say it. A lot of you Sagittarius, if you know that you've been contributing, you have been wronged. But at the same time, you still can't be this selfish to the point of dysfunctionality. What's going to happen here is that if you have this mentality, what's going to happen is you're going to end up being useless by proxy. You're going to want a person to contribute to you, because this is where a lot of these high standards come from. A lot of these high standards that a lot of people talk so much about as they're getting to know the person needs to pay for this, the person needs to do this, the reason why it is that they're saying all that in the first place is because the head fakes that one of the people prior that they was dating used to do to them. The head fakes. In other words, trying to convince them that they were so beautiful. Sometimes they may not have even told them that that's how it is that they felt about them, right? So now the next time when you get around to them, now it's like, well, you need to do this because it's a way to understand where the line is. It's how they can make sure that you're interested. So you Sagittarius don't, or you shouldn't want to be like that, because what's going to happen here is that when you're like that, you end up being the leech. You end up being the parasite. That's the last thing that you want to do. You end up contributing to the problem. So the Nine of Wands represent here. So you have to learn to contribute to every relationship. It is what it is, right? But you just have to become smarter or wiser to know who is wasting your time and who's not, to be able to get away from them when it's time to get away from them. The Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune now represents how, because the situation for you is Hierophant is Sagittarius, so you showed up in your own reading, and the Wheel of Fortune is Cancer Crab, okay? Jupiter is exalted in Cancer zodiac sign. So the Hierophant represents how you need to listen to your gut when you see these signs. A lot of you Sagittarius be knowing, and I've said this before, and that's why it is that I'm going to ride y'all, I'm going to ride y'all, I'm going to ride y'all. A lot of you Sagittarius, y'all know what I'm finna say. A lot of y'all Sagittarius you don't get to know the person. Like y'all do, but like y'all, whenever there's a lot of you see like real red flags. In other words, let me just put it plain, right? In other words, what it is and I'm trying to say here is, and I'm not upset. I'm not upset at you, right? I'm just trying to formulate my words correctly, because I be knowing what it is I'm thinking to myself, and I could lay it out multiple ways that I could say it, but I'm trying to get it to where everyone can understand is why sometimes I'm like this, right? I'm not upset. I'm trying to break it down to its common denominator. So just let me cook. So look, you Sagittarius have to pay attention to a person's character is the situation. Y'all don't pay attention to a person's character. And what I mean by that is, pay attention to all of the red flags. The red flags that y'all see, pay attention to those things, right? Like this red book here, like this red book, pay attention to the red flags. In this case, the red book that's around, right? Flagging, right? So why I'm saying all that to say is because a lot of y'all don't pay attention to that. And what happens is y'all can end up getting crossed or confused because, not because y'all are stupid, because I'm not saying that y'all are stupid. I'm saying that you're not stupid is the reason why it is that y'all get tricked. Y'all get caught up because y'all don't pay attention to the red flags that's waving in front of your faces. What happens with y'all is y'all will see it and y'all will dismiss it like, oh, X, Y, Z. It's like, no, stop letting red flags cross y'all face like so, and y'all just be like, oh, okay, whatever. No. The Wheel of Fortune now represents, because what's going to happen is, this is why you end up back here. So the Wheel of Fortune represents you have to fix your mistakes. You're going through these cycles until you can fix it. A lot of people want to talk about karmic cycles, stuff like this. Listen, karmic or karma and cycles are two different things. Karma is superstition, and cycles are things that are going to happen. There's a difference. One is superstition, one is science-based. One has no, you want the light? Okay. One has no credibility. The other one has all the credibility. So let's clarify the Hierophant. The moon, lovers, which is Gemini, opposite sign. The star, Tower, Page of Cups. Right. To clarify the Hierophant. Right. Start getting to know the Moon and the Lovers. Start getting to know someone on a one-on-one basis more. Chill with them more. I know a lot of you Sagittarius be having social circles, but a lot of you need to get these people by themselves and actually ask them questions and get to know them a little bit better. And when you find out if and when you find out that they have red flags or red books, in my case, don't say that you've recognized this. Let them do what they do. Go on with the rest of y'all evening like it's nothing, and then leave them alone after that. The Lovers, if a person is the real deal, the stuff that they're saying is not going to be alarming because it will be consistent. In other words, to give y'all an example, I like how those buildings look, but to give y'all an example, right? To give y'all an example, something like, something like, well, how could, people ask me, well, how could you say that you don't cheat? It's like, well, I've never put myself in a position to cheat. I'm talking about me personally. I'm just using it as an example. It's like, I've never put myself in a position to cheat. So when people would ask me, well, that doesn't make any sense. How have you never cheated? And I'm like, well, I've never put myself in a position to cheat. Because I'm seeing how difficult it is for me to get into this relationship that I am in. Because so many people are really lying about wanting to be in a real relationship in the first place. Then when I get into one, knowing how difficult it is because I'm not playing the game, and people are scared like a mug when it comes to being in a real relationship, I'm going to fight and scratch to get this inch around me, right? To get to this new inch, right? Which is this relationship, to blow it now all on cheating. And I don't put myself in a position to cheat in the first place. Whenever it is that I find myself in a position where I may have a significant other or someone who I'm dating as of right now, and I'm just hanging out with them or whatever the case may be, and I may end up getting a different person, right, that is interested in me, and I may know them and they coming on to me, I understand that in the back of my mind, they're not interested in me because they're interested in me. They're interested in me to satisfy their own ego. So the Star card and the Tower now represents, so this is the type of questioning that you need to understand about that situation. So the Tower, so now the Star and the Tower is all about make sure that a person is like this before you decide to do anything romantic with them. Because this person will be trying to have romantic fun with you, and some of the things that they may say or do don't really add up.